Hey folks, as you can see, we are deep into fall now, but we're excited because we're doing some fall fishing right on the Miramichi. Donald, what is the layout for the weekend?
The layout? Striped bass, more striped bass. So many people recognize the Miramichi as a spring fishing destination for stripers, and we want to show you folks at home that this is not just a spring deal. You can come here in the fall and have an amazing time.
And I'll tell you what, I think we've got with us a crew of the best there is to help us get on that fish and show you folks at home how it's done here in the Miramichi in the fall. Jeff Wilson from the Striper Cup. Jeff, talk to us a little bit of what to expect today.
Well, you know, it's the temperature's down a little this morning. We're here at the Napan River to get out of the wind with my good buddy Brian Gray here, and it looks like we should be able to get some on bait for sure, and we're going to try a few lures and just see if we can hook up a few big mudmoths. But the biggest thing here, it's all hook and release. We're going to let them all go. They're going to be back in the spring and have all kinds of little baby stripers when we're done.
Awesome. So we got our Fishies contributor Rob Landry who is joining us today. Thanks for being with us, Rob. Brian, you're going to get us on the fish as well?
We're going to try some hard. We've never been skunked yet, so we're going to today.
Never been skunked yet. Don't say that on film. Folks, stay tuned. We're heading on the Miramichi right here in the fall for some fall striper action.
Yeah, I can catch them shallow, I can catch them deep. Muddy water or the back of the creek. Wind and rain to me, it's all the same. I make a living playing this game, and I thank the Lord above every time I can. I get to be a fisherman. Yeah, I'm a fisherman.
Hi guys, we're here in Miramichi. Actually today we're on the Napan River. We came out here with it's a really windy day. Came out here with the direction of the wind to get a little bit of shelter. As you can probably see over my shoulder, it's still blowing pretty hard. We're doing something a little different today. In the spring in the Miramichi, which everyone knows about, you can throw lures, soft plastics all day long, and you're gonna hammer fish. In the fall, as the water cools down, you've got to shift gears a little bit. So today we are going to throw some lures, but we're also going to do some bait fishing. So we're using chunked up bait. I believe it's herring that was actually caught by our guide, Brian Gray. And so we'll show you the rigs here shortly, but it's a real simple setup. You've probably seen it before. We're using baits and we're going to throw some lures, and we're going to see for this cooler fall, windy day, what's going to be the best option out here on the Napan River. So stay tuned. We'll go get you some striped bass. Pretty windy, folks. You might have a hard time hearing. But we're here on the Napan River fishing striped bass. These fish are still plenty feisty, and they are extremely powerful. There's definitely bigger fish here, but there's a beautiful Miramichi striped bass out of the Napan River on a really windy day. If you're willing to brave the elements, even on a less than ideal day, you can get yourself some amazing fish. Let's get this guy back in the water. Very simple rig, folks, just a typical cut bait rig. We're running braided line down to a swivel, fluorocarbon leader. This is a pre-made bait rig. Your hook sitting 8 or so inches off the bottom. We're running a 4-ounce weight in this heavy wind. The bait wants to move around in the water. and then just some cut herring. Like I said, barbless hooks here in the Miramichi system. Punch your bait through. Try not to, the hooks may be barbless, but they still hurt. Punch it through, it's ready to go.
When winter arrives, the temperature drops. And here in the Maritimes, our excitement rises. We embrace the adventures that cold weather brings, like new discoveries with old friends, a hot plunge on a chilly night, familiar faces in cozy new spots, and fun days that become chill nights. In New Brunswick, we know how to do winter.
Guys, we've moved a little bit further in the Napan River, get a little more out of the wind. It was getting a little treacherous out there where we were. We're lucky enough today to be joined by Jeff Wilson. Jeff, you can correct me on your titles if I'm wrong, but you are the founder and co-host of the Miramichi Striper Cup.
I guess that's what you'd call me, yep.
Okay, why don't you tell us a little bit about the Striper Cup and what it means, what it's done for Miramichi and the fishery as a whole?
Well, you know, about 7 or 8 years ago, I was up here all by myself on the main river and fishing up there and telling everybody I was catching 100 or 200 fish a day and nobody around. So I thought, you know, what better way to get that out there and start a tournament. So I called at the time, is Mayor Cormier, I think it was, and they introduced me to Jeff McTavish. And Jeff and the city have been excellent. They really liked the idea, and we got it fired up within 90 days the first year. So 90 days from the decision to start, and we got it done. And we had a great crowd, and ever since it's been growing. And last year we had almost 2,000 people there at the Striper Cup. But the most important thing is that we're getting a lot of people to come up here fishing, not just for the Striper Cup. The Striper Cup has certainly brought attention to the fishery, but you know, just last week up here in the fall, there was 68 boats under the bridge fishing in the fall. So that's a really, you know, that's a really good sign. Now the fall fishery, of course, is it's a little slower than the spring, but you just got one there a few minutes ago, and it's what, 45 degrees in the water today?
Yeah, it's you know, what are we talking, a daytime high of like 9 degrees Celsius today. Water temperatures here in the Napan River are in the 40s. So yeah, it's going to be a little more challenging, but you know, the striper fishery here in Miramichi, and let's clear something up, because Jeff, let's be honest, there's some misconceptions about the striped bass fishery in the Miramichi. It's not an invasive species. They have been here for forever.
Yeah, they back in the early 1900s, they used to harvest 60 tons a year of striped bass out of the river. So when I hear that the striped bass is, you know, never been like this, you know, that's a falsehood. What they'll say is it has never been this many bass in recent memory. That's because about 15 years ago they were an endangered species, so a species at risk actually. So you know, we think there's about 400,000 in the school, and we're hoping that with, you know, conservation methods and those sort of things, we can keep them around that 300 to 400,000.
So that's the sustainable school, or what current science is estimating as the sustainable school, is that 300 to 400,000 range?
Yeah, they haven't really come out and said what that is, but we do know in 1995 there was 175,000 bass in the river, and the next year there was 13,000. So we do know that Mother Nature can have a major impact on the fisheries, and so if you can go from 175 down to 13,000, it took us 20 years to bring that back. So we really need to have a good balance, a balance of fish, so that if that happens, if Mother Nature, you know, happens to give us a curveball, we have the bass there to sustain for the future.
Miramichi River system, fall of the year. Don't think it's just a spring thing. Get up to Miramichi and get yourself some great striped bass.
Got the net?
I might get one of you fellas to grab the net just to make sure we don't lose it. Like your country. It's a nice
fish. Look at the gut.
That is another above slot fish there. Quite a bit thicker. Probably maybe 6 pounds, probably right handy in there, maybe 7 pounds. Flip that board open, we'll measure him right here, see what he is.
The challenge.
He is
29 inch.
29
plus.
inch, 75 centimeters. Nice fish. Real. There we go.
Take a little more drag. Nice fish, Brian.
Another nice fish, yeah.
Ready?
Got the tucker on the bottom hook that time.
And what you were seeing there, folks, when Brian was letting that rod bounce, the fish is at the bait, and with these live bait rigs or these cut bait rigs, the fish is kind of chomping at it, but it's not committed. So you let it bounce, let that fish get that bait in its mouth. And then when all of a sudden the rod bends over and it starts peeling drag, that fish is going to be hooked.
Baby. I never even got my bait. Save the mackerel. Nice little schoolie, boys. Finally put one in the boat.
Little schoolie. The bottom end of the slot, I would say, probably 50 centimeters, right handy to there. Nice fish though, healthy looking fish.
We're all looking for the perfect escape. Some of us want to slow down, be still, and savor, while others are always in search of the next boundary to push. The perfect escape means something different to everyone, but the common thread is connecting to what brings us to another world, one that's just the perfect amount of away. Book your escape. Visit tourismnewbrunswick.ca.
We're out here on the Napan River today. We're going to fish the Miramichi system. We're joined, or I guess we're joining, Brian Gray from Miramichi Sport Fishing. So first thing, Brian, thank you for having us out here.
I'm glad you could come.
We really appreciate the opportunity to come out. Our experience in Miramichi is pretty limited in the fall, and it is a different fishery than it is in the spring. So my first question, Brian, is what really inspired you? What got you into the idea of being a guide here in the Miramichi?
Well, there was quite a demand for guide services here. There wasn't a whole pile of fellas around doing it, and I used to take people fishing quite a bit when I was traveling back and forth. I used to work a rotation from out west, and then last year I decided to come home for good, and I decided I would start Miramichi Sport Fishing and do this for the full 6 months of the fishery, from the opening of the season in April till the close of the season, the end of October.
I know, Brian, we're lucky enough we're staying at the rod hotel here in Miramichi this weekend. I know you've got a deal going on with them this fall. Why don't you tell the folks at home what kind of deal, what kind of packages that you can work out with a guide like yourself and a hotel like the Rod?
Yes, me and the Rod this fall came up with a bass and boats package, they call it. So you can go stay at the Rod. They'll give you a bite to eat and a complimentary glass of wine, and you can come fishing with me for a 5-hour trip or an 8-hour trip, pick you right up at your hotel and drop you off there. And it's working out really well. There are a lot of people seem to be really enjoying that. They're getting everything with one phone call. They don't have to phone around looking for a guide and for a place to stay and a bite to eat. That the Rod has everything. Got an excellent restaurant. It's a lovely spot to stay, and yeah, it's working out really well.
It's I'm not going to say it's an easy fish, but it's a much faster paced fishing. In the fall, you've got to have a little more local knowledge. So especially if you're coming here in the fall, look up a guide like Brian, call places, hotels like the Rod, get yourself some accommodations, get yourself a guide, and get out on the water. Don't think the season's over just because the leaves are changing. Well, the thing is when they get one free piece though, they might come back and try for the other.
Yeah. Nice thick fella, see how?
Yeah, the beauty of those barbless hooks makes for an easy unhook.
Oh, it's beautiful, especially when you're into a bunch of fish over and over and over again.
Get the release fish quick, release them healthy so they can go and come back and do it again. Folks, as we said earlier, a lot of what we're doing today is fishing with cut bait. It is, especially if you're a novice and you're coming out chasing these stripers for the first time, it's not a bad tactic to try. It's very simple, very basic. You're putting your cut bait rig, with your bait 6, 8, 10 inches off the bottom, with your weight below it, and it's really just a sit and wait type fishing. It's not the most exciting. If you're an experienced angler, it's not necessarily going to be what you're looking for, but it's productive. It's going to catch fish, and just like this. And nope, it's still there. Don't feel real big.
It's big for you, Don.
Oh, let's get this in here. Another beautiful Miramichi striped bass, ready to go back for a swim. Cut bait, it works in the fall. The water temperatures are down. As you can see, the water is really, really dirty. It's stirred up. So when you're fishing with lures, it's harder to get their attention. The scent from the cut bait is going to spread out through this water. Those fish are going to find you. So it may not be what you're used to, but it's worth giving it a try.
Thank you for being safe, for being fun, for being strong. Thank you for taking a tour, or seeing old friends, or new places. Thank you for visiting your own backyard and rediscovering its beauty. Thank you for having fun and being sensible about it. Thank you for visiting your province and falling in love again. Thank you, New Brunswick. Let's keep going.
Nice fish here.
Yes. Oh boy.
That's the first time all day I heard that rod feeling drag.
Jeff's got one on, taking a little drag. Oh, nice fish. Oh, nice fish.
That's what we move for, boys. That's what we move for.
I'll get out of your way so you guys can get that out of the net.
Is it huge when you want the grippers?
I told you guys, I said, if we move down by that point, I think we can get ourselves an outgoing Thai big female. What do you think of that?
job. Thank you, sir. Oh, another beauty.
Another beauty.
Beauty fish right there, boys. Another beauty right there.
Yeah.
I would say 32 inches. Let's give her a shot. Let's see what she did.
Let's go. Oh, I'm gonna squeeze the tail for 34.
Actually, if we're measuring yours and mine, mine's about 34 and an 8, bro.
Did you squeeze the tail on mine?
I did.
Ah.
Not to be outdone.
So 234 inches.
Beauty fish.
Since we come down to this point.
Can't beat that.
That came out of nowhere. I was literally trying to move my line because the boat had turned a little bit. My line was up past Brian's and I was trying to move it just slowly to bring it past. And that fish just came out of nowhere and grabbed that.
But for you, it's pretty.
Yes, for me, the way today's gone, I'll take that all day. 34 inches, 24 inches, they're all a lot of fun. And like I said, that was just slowly moving that cut bait along the bottom, just trying to avoid Brian's line. And that guy decided he wanted it, so let's get him back in because I still got to try and beat them. All right, guys, as much as I hate to say it, we've got to call it a day. It's been a great day out on the water here in the Miramichi region. We fished the Napan River this morning. We fished the main Miramichi River this afternoon. Jeff Wilson, Brian Gray, Jeff from the Striper Cup, Brian from Miramichi Sport Fishing. I can't thank you guys enough. We had a really windy fall day, but having the right guys on the boat, they put us on fish. It's just been a phenomenal day. Guys, I can't thank you enough.
Oh, I'd like to thank you. It was a great day. Sure cold, I can tell you that. But Brian did a great job. Miramichi, you know, sport fishing. You guys do a great job, and he got the mackerel for us there, which really helped. And a few secret baits there too, wasn't it, Brian?
Well, I can't tell you about it, but they worked pretty good.
Worked pretty good. And then I caught a 34 incher, and then Brian just couldn't stand it and got one 34 and an 8. So I'm going to give you the big fish of the day.
Thank you very much.
There's always a little rivalry. That's all part of the fun. Check out the city of Miramichi, the Miramichi River, striped bass fishing, spring or fall. It's an experience you don't want to miss. Get out, explore your own backyard, fish on, and fish east. As we talked about earlier, just about all these areas across New Brunswick, they have different regulations. Mitch, you've got a pile of water on your hands.
I make a living playing this game, and I thank the Lord above every time I can. I get to be a fisherman.